So Chennedy Carter is a player for nobody right now. Absolutely nobody. She is not playing basketball, and we've now got a situation where we've got one of the 15 best players in the world just not.
Chennedy Carter just experienced one of the most ruthless moves we've seen in professional sports in a long time. No goodbye post. No formal statement. No chance to plead her case. The Chicago Sky simply went out and signed her replacement, no warning, no explanation, just cold, hard business. The message was loud and clear: she was never really a permanent piece in their long-term plans. No front office sugarcoating. No vague press release. Just a definitive decision that left no room for interpretation. Some call it strategic. Others say it was a brutal execution. Either way, it sent shockwaves through the league.
Chicago Sky finally replaced Chennedy Carter with Ariel Atkins, and I am using this as my opportunity to extend an olive branch to the Chennedy Carter brigade. The Ken folk, I believe you guys call yourself. I am taking this as an opportunity to reach out my hand and say greeting.
What Carter just got hit with wasn't just a roster cut, it was a harsh dose of professional reality that scorched hotter than a mid-July sun in downtown Chicago. And if we're being completely honest, it was probably a long time coming. This past season, Carter's name was less associated with standout play and more tied to sideline drama, on-court cheap shots, and her open hostility toward Caitlin Clark. She didn't just build a reputation. She leaned into the villain role like it was part of her brand. But now, that drama-first mindset has backfired. Chicago didn't just let her go, they bolted the door behind her and made sure she couldn't knock twice.
Ariel Atkins is a good guard. She's a solid player. But they had Chennedy Carter that they chose to not re-sign, who was one of the most explosive shooting guards in the league. I put her around 2 or 3. I mean, I'm right now playing with Caitlin Clark. I give Kelsey Mitchell the edge. Right now, I think Chennedy Carter is a better shooting guard than, say, Sabrina Ionescu, Kelsey Plum. So, I mean, she's right up.
In her place? The Sky brought in Ariel Atkins, a battle-tested, no-nonsense veteran with a reputation for playing smart, staying focused, and contributing without turning every game into a spectacle. It's a clear contrast to Carter. Atkins doesn't bring the drama, she brings results. While Carter is left wondering what went wrong, Chicago is already locking in on a new identity. And fans? Oh, they're divided. Some are throwing victory parades over the move, praising the Sky for cutting ties and starting fresh. Others, mainly Carter loyalists, are acting like this was some major injustice, claiming she was done dirty. But if you've been paying attention, this shift was inevitable.
I mean, that's clearly a foul which was called. The question is, will they call it unnecessary? Chennedy Carter.
There was no subtlety in the Sky's decision. No soft transition. No exit interview. This was a clear-cut, high-speed pivot away from Carter's brand of chaos. Chicago didn't just nudge her out, they shut her out. Replacing her with a respected vet like Atkins wasn't just a basketball decision, it was a public statement. The Sky are done babysitting egos. They want winners, not distractions. No one's pretending this wasn't calculated. It absolutely was. And they executed it with ruthless clarity.
Do you have any regrets on how it happened and everything that's happened since then?
I don't have any regrets with anything. I'm going to compete and play 100% hard no matter who it is, like I said, or who we're playing. No, I don't have any regret.
And let's be honest here, are we really shocked? Carter spent the entire season playing the role of a disruptor, but not in the good, game-changing way. It was the constant antics, the eye rolls, the petty fouls that did her in. There's a thin line between fierce competitor and professional liability, and Carter blew right past it. While the WNBA audience may enjoy a little bit of drama, front offices don't. This isn't an episode of Survivor. This is pro sports. And in the WNBA, winning trumps noise every time.
It's a mad one for me, because I'm like, this is, if this was a year ago, fair enough. But like, the Sky were willing to take her in. And look, I get it, maybe she wasn't the greatest in the locker room, but she was really good at basketball.
Now enter Ariel Atkins, bringing a completely different energy to the locker room. She's the kind of player who immediately raises the floor and the ceiling of any team she joins. Hardworking, disciplined, and deeply respected by teammates and coaches alike. No theatrics. Just performance. She understands the moment, respects the game, and plays like every possession matters. And while some Carter fans are screaming foul play, the truth is, the Sky didn't wrong her. They just stopped waiting for her to grow up. Atkins is an upgrade in every measurable category. This wasn't personal. This was business. And it was handled with surgical precision.
At first glance, the Chicago Sky trading the number 3 pick in the draft to the Mystics for Ariel Atkins could feel like a little bit of a desperate move, right? Chicago desperate to compete right now with Angel Reese after her rookie season. Of course, Camila Cardoso's rookie season as well. So I get that, and it's a nice rebuilding move by the Mystics.
Now the focus shifts to the biggest unknown. What's next for Chennedy Carter? She's officially a free agent, but that term doesn't mean much when your phone isn't ringing. WNBA front offices have seen the red flags. No one's denying her raw talent. Carter can play, but pro ball isn't just about putting up buckets. It's about chemistry, accountability, discipline. And Carter, for all her gifts, hasn't shown enough of any of those. Right now, she's the player sitting on the sideline of a pickup game, waiting, hoping, but never hearing her name called.
Due to Carter's behavior, which apparently went unchecked by former coach Teresa Weatherspoon. There was concern within the team regarding how re-signing Carter would impact the Sky's chances of landing other free agents. And likely this was a joint decision that was made between the GM and the new head coach.
Chicago isn't wasting time looking in the rearview mirror. They've got their eyes on the playoffs, with Ariel Atkins leading the charge in a locker room that finally feels balanced. Carter, meanwhile, is stuck replaying the past season in her head. And make no mistake, it wasn't one single moment that sealed her fate. It was a collection of bad choices, poor optics, and a consistent disregard for professionalism. The Clark beef? That didn't help. The public jabs? They hurt her more than anyone else. Now she's facing a long offseason filled with soul-searching and zero guarantees.
What little girl wants to grow up and play in a league where you're targeted like that? How do you sit here and profess and demand that everyone take women's sports seriously when you can't even take it seriously enough to not act like a junior high queen on the court? It's stupid. It's so dumb. It looks like a soap opera.
Maybe, just maybe, if Carter had poured her energy into elevating her game instead of tearing down Caitlin Clark every chance she got, things would look different. But she didn't. She reveled in being the villain. She treated Clark like a media creation rather than a peer and showed that disrespect every time they met on the court. The irony? Now she'll have to watch those same games from the comfort of her couch. While Clark gears up for another record-setting season, Carter's stuck refreshing her inbox and hoping someone gives her a second shot.
She turned to you a little bit after the Fever score.
I didn't answer no Caitlin Clark questions.
Did she say anything to you?
I don't know what she said.
What'd you say to her?
I didn't say anything.
What makes this entire collapse so tragic is that it was 100% avoidable. Rivalries are great for the game, but there's a fine line between passionate and poisonous. Carter didn't just cross that line, she danced on it in cleats. Her aggression wasn't calculated, it was reckless. Her interviews didn't clarify, they inflamed. And when you combine that with an already shaky reputation, you get a player no team wants to gamble on. She's not just out of work, she's out of favor.
That's all I see. They try so long to get respect for women's basketball, and then they treat it like a junior high school girl's locker room. Junior high school girl antics on the...
And here's the kicker, Caitlin Clark, the very player Carter tried to minimize, is thriving beyond belief. She's not just performing, she's dominating. Her jersey sales are booming, her endorsements are stacking, and her stats are MVP worthy. While Carter is ghosted by the league, Clark is climbing to superstar heights. The same person Carter spent all season targeting is now the face of the league, while she's left watching the empire she tried to undermine flourish without her.
That's what Caitlin Clark has done. Caitlin Clark has changed the industry. She is bigger than the WNBA. There is not a player in the NBA right now who could come in and be bigger than the NBA. For what it's worth, LeBron James at 40 is not bigger than the NBA. When LeBron James retires, we won't blink. I'm being real. People will not blink. They'll keep.
Now, Carter faces a sobering reality. With her WNBA options seemingly dried up, she has only two real paths forward: take a contract overseas and hope to rebuild her brand from scratch, or step away from basketball entirely. But here's the cold truth: once you leave the WNBA, returning is no guarantee. Front offices have long memories, and Carter's resume doesn't exactly scream safe investment. This isn't a minor misstep, it's a full-on implosion. She had the platform, the skill, and the spotlight. But she chose to wage war with it instead of building a legacy.
Teammates to the games, even just when we were trying to make the playoffs, it was a hard fight. Y'all know I went down, I had a foot injury, which cost a lot of games at the end of the season. We ended up losing to Washington. I didn't play. We lost to Indiana. I didn't play that game. I missed a couple of games to where, you know, maybe if we had our whole lineup, we could have had a better outcome. But like, as far as like that, there's a lot of just narratives being spent. And from my standpoint, you know, I had a great time, and this was one of the best seasons that I ever had in my career. And I'm not going to allow anybody to downplay it like it went bad, because it didn't go bad. It was the best season that I've had in my life. Shooting-wise, playing-wise, living-wise, like, it was a great experience for me personally.
Meanwhile, the mood in Chicago couldn't be more optimistic. Sky fans are already acting like the championship trophy is halfway down Michigan Avenue. With Angel Reese gaining momentum and Atkins now in the fold, they're hyped. They're tweeting like they've got a dynasty on their hands. But let's slow down for just a second, because standing in their path is a storm called the Indiana Fever. And at the center of that storm? Caitlin Clark. And if history tells us anything, she's not coming to play nice.
It's an incredible moment on a global scale for our game, for our players.
It's like the fans are absolutely incredible. It's the same when we go on the road. Like, there's so many people that are showing up in fever gear. It's really affecting, you know, teams all across our league, which is a really great thing. And, you know, really, I think we're just scratching the surface.
Clark versus Reese? Yeah, it's back, and the schedule makers knew exactly what they were doing. 5 matchups this season. 5 chances for both fan bases to go wild. Their rivalry has transcended college ball and now holds the keys to the WNBA's mainstream breakout. This isn't just about basketball, it's about narratives, storylines, and pride. Clark is evolving. Reese is hungry. And the league is watching.
Bring more and more fans to this league, people that have maybe never watched the WNBA before, and it kind of takes your breath away.
Chicago fans are living in a dream right now, convinced that Atkins is the missing piece that changes everything. But one smart signing doesn't erase a year of dysfunction. And they're forgetting one crucial detail: they still have to go through Caitlin Clark. And if you think that's going to be easy, you haven't been paying attention. This is the same Clark who shattered college records, lit up defenses, and is now being groomed as the league's next MVP. So go ahead, dream of deep playoff runs. But reality's coming soon, and it wears number 22.
I knew then her future was not going to be very bright, bruh. Now, a lot of people was kind of surprised by this. I'm not, because I know, you know what I'm saying? What she did to Caitlin Clark was completely unnecessary. And I'm here to tell you guys, she's living with that decision today because she is without a job.
Ariel Atkins is a great player. A real asset. But she's not a miracle worker. Chicago still has flaws, chemistry concerns, roster gaps, and unanswered questions about how they match up against elite competition. Meanwhile, Clark is probably somewhere getting up extra shots, watching tape, and preparing to torch whoever stands in her way. She hasn't forgotten the noise from last season. And that season opener against Chicago? You better believe she's had it circled since the day the schedule dropped.
Are taking this young, talented core that they have, you know, with Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark, and they're adding veteran players that Stephanie White has already worked.
And finally, let's not forget about the biggest L of the offseason, Chennedy Carter. The message couldn't be clearer. No team wants the baggage. No team wants the risk. She was handed a golden opportunity and fumbled it at every turn. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark is preparing to dominate headlines, highlight reels, and maybe even hoist a trophy. The contrast couldn't be more dramatic, one player preparing for greatness, the other staring down uncertainty. So tell us what you think. Did Carter blow it for good? Or is there still hope for redemption? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications. For more stories just like this, click the video on screen. We'll catch you in the next one.